We're back with another tier list. Today we're going to be talking about overall recovery. Yes, I did an uppie tier list, but uppies are not necessarily indicative of a full recovery, so let's get into it. So obviously recoveries are super important. It allows you to prolong your stock. The music just changed. Okay. It allows you to prolong your stock. It allows you to go off stage really deep and edgeguard, and it is just a very comfortable thing. So they're very important. So let's set up the tiers really quick. So I actually think there are a good amount of different things that are important when it comes to recoveries, right? Because there are many aspects to a recovery. There is raw distance. There are how easy it is to intercept that recovery. There are mix-ups that you can have, and all those are very important. So I actually have a good amount of tiers here, more than my usual tier lists. As like, you are fine, doesn't really matter if you have resources or not, you're probably gonna make it back. The next down we have good if you have everything, meaning if you have your double jump, if you have your extra thing, it is really good. But if you start losing those aspects, then it's going to be a problem recovering. I actually have a character very much in mind for that. Good but exploitable means that the recovery goes far. There are a good amount of mix-ups, but if you are correct in edgeguarding them, you're going to get pretty consistent kills. There is got hit with no double jump, GG shake my hand, as in you really need all of your resources at all times, or you're going to be screwed. And then there's stay center at all costs, which is you're going to die if you get hit off stage like 9 times out of 10. And for these, I kind of go in a random order because I just don't like going bottom up, and that's too much planning for my sake. So let's just go with a random character, Dr. Mario. Stay center at all costs. This character has one of the worst recoveries in the game. It's very exploitable. He has low airspeed. He has not a good distance on his up B. His double jump is mediocre. He does have down B, which does help because you are able to, have a third jump essentially, but it's really bad because people can just go off stage and mess with the down B if they want to. They can trade with the up B. They can just hit you. There's not a lot of mix-ups you can do. It's kind of just hope that I'm close enough to the point where they can't just run off and hit me. So it's definitely like bottom 5, 7 recoveries in the game, like unless you're specifically on Kalos because you have a wall jump, but then again it doesn't even matter because people are probably edge guarding you before you get to the wall anyway. Other random one, Pyramithra. Well, actually, I'm gonna put Pyramithra in this middle tier here. I actually think their recovery is better than people give it credit for. It's not good by all means, because it's like it's exploitable, right? Like, it is good. It goes far. The airspeed of swapping is really good. Up B's hard to, like, Mithra's up B is hard to mess with. Sometimes side B you get away with it. There's invincibility multiple times when you're recovering, which is obviously going to be good, which is it's just okay. Like, it's not great. Obviously, when it comes to tournaments, you are going to get hit at a double jump because they double jump a lot in neutral, which is one of the problems with Aegis compared to the other like top 5 characters. But it's fine. Like, you're not seeing every single Aegis get edge guarded all the time. They're getting edge guarded sometimes, but again, realistically, every category can get edge guarded except maybe the top layer, which is just a hard guess. And if you're right, Aegis's recovery is fine. It's not good. It's definitely the worst of the top tiers, but it's fine. You should also subscribe to the YouTube channel because content, and it's fun, and more tier lists, and let me know what tier lists you want me to do in the future. Ness. Ness is also in this tier. I think that Ness's recovery is incredibly underrated. He has magnet for stalling, so it's a little awkward. He has good hitboxes if he wants to nair or up air. There's plenty of mix-ups you can do with PK Thunder to still recover, even against elite edgeguarding characters. Obviously, there are certain characters that will edgeguard this character very hard, like Palutena, because you have invincible back air, or, characters with good counters. But this character's recovery is really good. Like, when you watch the top Ness players, they're not dying off stage consistently. Like, it's definitely a tier, like, this is like the top of the good but exploitable tier, and then Aegis is at the bottom of this tier, because there's quite a significant difference. I think Ness's is so good. Obviously, the double jump does help a lot, but yeah, it's not bad at all. Like, I think this is one of the most overhyped or like overthought about things about Ness. It's like, oh my god, his recovery is so bad. It's like, it's really not. It's really good. And he has his air dodge, which is crazy. Picking a random character, Min Min. Yeah, that's correct. Got hit with no double jump, GG shake my hand. Min Min is a very easily exploited recovery if you are a character especially that is good at edgeguarding tether recoveries. There are plenty of characters that can just hit Min Min off stage and get a kill. She definitely has to maintain her double jump. She has to, like, it's just scary, right? It is very scary to be off stage as Min Min. You do have the ability to fight back with your arms and your smash attacks, but those things have lag, and then you can hit them anyway. Like, Min Min is not super duper broken. The reason this character isn't top 5 or 7 is because of her recovery, and it is the clear main flaw of the character. I do think overall Min Min's recovery is worse than Aegis's, because there's more positions where Min Min is kind of hopeless because she doesn't have a hitbox on her up B, right? So if you are close to the character and she has to up B, you can just hit her, whereas Aegis, you are still going to get hit by up B, and also her double jump's kind of mid. Like, is it super duper bad? Is it down here? No, but it's still not good. Captain Falcon. I think Captain Falcon is in this tier as well. Good, but exploitable. I think the drift on the up B is really, really good. This character's recovery used to be a lot worse, but then they buffed the amount of lag after your up B, which in my opinion was absolutely huge. I think that this character's recovery was like really bad before, and then that buff happened, and I'm like, oh, like only certain characters can get kills on him now instead of like literally everyone in the game. So it got significantly better with that patch. One of the most important buffs that Falcon got overall, and his up B just goes so weird, and if you overextend on an edgeguard, he can reverse the up B, and also it starts untechable-ing you, so on like last hit situations, it's really scary to edgeguard him. It's still exploitable, right? Like if you hit him far enough off stage, he's gonna double jump and then up B, and you can kind of corral him where you want him to be, and then get a kill, but it's way harder than people give it credit for. Again, this is basically more so the like edgeguardable but hard. I guess this is more so what it is. I realized that was a little bit too specific for this tier name, so I'm just kind of more so going like, good luck, you got this? Which is like, you know, they're still not having fun in those positions, but you still can. Ganondorf. It's really bad. Ganondorf's recovery is it the worst in the game? I don't think it's the worst in the game, but it's bottom 3. For sure. I think Dox is worse, actually, because Ganon's up B does go quite a bit far, and he does have side B to trade stocks at least, and like double jump up air, but his air drift is really bad. It's so easy to hit it. The up B hitbox isn't particularly good. Like Falcon's is way better when it comes to that, but it's really bad. Like, it blows my mind whenever I see a Ganondorf not just get edge guarded by 80% of the cast or 90% of the cast, because you literally can. You can edge guard this character with almost every character in the game, especially when you start hitting like 60-70% when you're hitting him actually off stage. It's crazy. Imagine if side B didn't put him into free fall. I mean, it would help, but it would still be pretty mid. He would just end up going he would just like live and then side B first. It would kind of more so be like Dox in that regard, but I think his up B is good enough that it's still a little bit better. Bowser Jr. This character's recovery, it's one of these two. I'm kind of leaving these as like the super elite recoveries. So I'm gonna put Bowser Jr. in this tier. I think it's really, really good when you recover high. Like, it is so hard to cover just jump side B because side B has armor on it. It is very, very good in that regard. Of course, it goes high, right? Side B is good, double jump is good. So like, there are many aspects you have to Bowser Jr.'s recovery that makes it difficult to edgeguard. Of course, you do have the downfall of if you hit a move with no tumble, or that doesn't put you into tumble, then you're gonna die at early percents, but there's only a couple characters that can really abuse that, and it's mostly like Pika. And again, he can always up B, go past the ledge, at least to like land on stage and get his resources back. So again, he might be rinse repeated, but like if he gets his resources back, then he's just gonna like DI up and in, jump side B and B in center. So like, you're fine, bro. Like, he's fine. But I'm kind of leaving, well, maybe he's like the lower end of this tier. I don't know. But like, the thing is, I feel like this tier, I'm just like, if you have nothing, you're still probably fine. Or like, you can recover in ways that you don't have to, use your resources, which I'll get into, or like, it doesn't matter if you have resources or not. Whereas Bowser Jr., you kind of, if you get hit with no side B, that's rough. Like, having no side B for Bowser Jr.'s recovery is a little bit hard. So he's definitely like probably like top 10, 11 recoveries, but I don't think he's like he's just totally fine. Because like, if you hit him without a double jump and then he has to side B kind of mid and then you hit him out, it can be a little rough. So like, it's more like, yeah, you know, I feel like for these characters, when I'm talking about the recovery, it's like, yeah, if you have all your resources, it works, as opposed to the upper ends where it's like, yeah, you have to get hit out of all your resources to get edge guarded, which is kind of backwards. So obviously, for the Miis, right, they all have different sets. I'm going to go with, I would still say it's probably this tier. I think obviously there are recoveries that are like bad for me, like depending on which sets you have, it can be worse than this, but I think the average set of Mii Sword Fighter is going to be pretty like decent. It's good if you have everything, right? If you don't have your double jump, then hero spin recoveries get really bad. If you don't run the Ike side B, I forget what it's called, that can be a little rough because then you don't have great horizontal recovery, but there are plenty of things that are really good for me sword fighter, right? His multi-hit up B is really, really good. His farther up B is really, really good. Those are hard to mess with. And he has the ability to like jump side B. He also has chakram to help his recoveries. Again, is it elite of a recovery? No, you can definitely still edgeguard this character, but there's a couple more steps you have to go through, whether it is like hitting them out of their double jump so they can't double jump side B, or you know, have to have something that goes through the multi-hitting up B if they're running that. So it's definitely good, right? I think this is like definitely a hard to edgeguard recovery. Yeah, the pyro up B goes mad far. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Banjo. Banjo's is definitely also in this tier. I definitely think it's probably better than me sword fighter, worse than Bowser Jr. It's very reliant on Wonder Wing, right? Wonder Wing, obviously, if you have it, you can't edgeguard him, right? It's literally impossible. You're just gonna jump and he's gonna go side B and you go, okay. Like there's like the shield push thing, but if the Banjos do their side B correctly, you can't do that anyway. He has the ability to blow himself up with his down B, which is going to be very helpful. He can recover high because he has access to like, you know, recover high, down B, grab it, throw it down, drift away from it. So he's like really hard to edgeguard for characters that aren't elite edgeguarders. Again, he's going to be fine. Obviously, if you run out of double jumps, that can be a problem. If you have no Wonder Wing, his recovery becomes like significantly worse. Like I think Banjo with no Wonder Wing is like worse than Aegis's recovery, but when he has Wonder Wing, it's like when he has Wonder Wing, it's in this tier because like you can't do anything about that. But either way, I still think that recovery is quite solid. I mean, if Banjo has to recover vertically, he can also like, you know, down B, grab it, jump, throw it up, and then jump up B, which is really nice. I think without enough resources, his recovery's terrible. Yeah, but he has 2 double jumps and down B. So like he can, like literally when Banjo doesn't have resources, he just goes up B, down B, Z catch it, drop down, air dodge up. The grenade explodes, he techs the stage and he up B's again. Like that's with no resources and it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Random character, go. Kazuya. I think Kazuya's recovery is in the good if you have everything tier. He obviously is a character that has a actionable stuff after his air dodge. He has laser to stall. He has his double jump and his up B that he can use in various things. The thing about having characters that you can like up B and then double jump, it's really, really helpful because you can just up B first, and if you get hit, you still have your double jump, which in my opinion is super, super important because it means that you are not going to just like get hit off stage, hit the double jump, and then they're dead. Right? I think that being able to up B first is incredibly, incredibly important when it comes to your longevity of your recovery. So therefore, I think straight up, that's the reason I think Kazuya is that good. Plus, it goes high. It's hard to mess with. The up B hitbox is pretty good. Like, yes, you can hit it, especially if you have a disjoint where you're like really good at spacing it. But again, that is a little bit difficult. So I do think Kazuya is good if you have everything. It's definitely better than people say for sure. Like in terms of like, it's in actually not just the tier name. But I do think it's like more exploitable than people do because they're scared of getting upbeat and reversal. And now he's back on stage, so they just want to like maybe potentially try to edgeguard him for some percent and then just ledge trap him, and that's what people try to do. Also, he has armor. If he recovers high and he sees you trying to go for him, he can just armor through your thing and then grab it. We are finally into our first good character. That's gonna be Rob. Rob's fine. He has one of the best recoveries in the game. Obviously, he has infinite fuel, not literally infinite, but it is, you know, it's really he has so much fuel. He has back air. He has the ability to go up B and then double jump, so he can do up B into double jump fair, double jump up air, double jump gyro, double jump laser. He has the ability to go up B, double jump up B. If you're not close enough, you can sweet spot the ledge that way. It's so hard to edgeguard him, right? Like the edgeguards that you get on Rob are either very elite characters with edgeguarding, like when it comes to Sonic or Pika or Meta Knight, or it's going to come from like him going high and then getting juggled 3 times, but he chooses to go off stage and then do that over and over again. His 2-frame is there. It's not that big of a deal, but that's also why he's not the best recovery in the game. Like if his 2-frame was normal or like harder to hit, like Sonic's is or something, he would be way better, right? But by way better, I mean he would be like top 2 or top 1 recovery, where he's like, you know, in the top 7, 8 recovery, something like that. Here, should I do like big ESAM? Big ESAM, hello. Okay, Ike. Or the names are too simple, so it's not really applicable anymore. So I'm changing this tier to hard, but possible to edgeguard. But yeah, Ike's recovery, like the thing is, no, fuck that. Ike's here. I don't care. So the reason I'm putting Ike here, side B is so hard to deal with. Like, his side B activates in ways that are really good for him. The fact that he can side B and then up B is really good. Like, side B straight up one of the best single recovery moves in the game. You have to have your double jump. Like, you need all your resources, but you could if you have everything. So I'm gonna say that, yeah. He can't do anything after side B though, which is the issue. He can if he hits you, and if he's not hitting you, he's going across the entire stage. When he's in bubble, he can go jump side B and then just go across the entire stage. Like, you're not very few characters are edge guarding Ike when Ike has double jump. When Ike doesn't have double jump, it's mid, so it's actually over here. But when you have double jump, it's one of the best recoveries one of the hardest to mess with recoveries in the game, one of the best recoveries in the game. It's so, like, there's a billion timing mix-ups. It's just so good. Also, Ian, let me know who you want me to do after this. It auto-cancels. Up B is, like, low-key not super easy to edge guard. Like, it's possible to edge guard, but it's not as easy as, obviously, something like Chrom. I don't know. I think it's here. I think when he doesn't have good airspeed, so when he doesn't have his double jump, it's hard. But also, how many times is an Ike not gonna have double jump? Like, I think it's definitely the bottom of this tier, because you need to use double jump if you want the super good side Bs, and if you side B without, but again, if you side B, as long as you're not getting hit at, like, bad angles of, like, you're getting back air looped by Pika, or you're getting, like, puff down smashed, or, you know, like, banjo down tilted, like, you're fine, because you just side B, recover. If they get in the way of that side B, you have double jump still, and then if you kind of hit it, then you do jump up air or jump whatever. Ike's recovery is really good. Ike's recovery is, like, the best thing about the character besides killing. Like, it's literally like killing, recovery. Like, it's hard to edgeguard Ike unless you're hitting them in really bad positions, in which case, should have held your double jump. Why are you double jumping in neutral as Ike? Just full hop in air, you're fine. Little Mac. I think that Little Mac's recovery is bad, but it's not the worst in the game. He does have his double jump down B little trick. He has counter, which means that obvious edge guarding attempts won't work because you're able to just counter and move super far. But if you don't have, he has 3 resources, right? He has counter, he has double jump, and he has side B. If you don't have one of those, well, you always have counter, I guess. If you don't have double jump or side B, you're so screwed. You need both. You need all of your resources to have a good recovery. If you are out one of your options, you die. You straight up die. But yeah, Little Max is, like, really bad, but it's not the worst in the game. It might, like, be in the bottom of this tier, but yeah, I think it's just really bad still. I think the most exploitable part is his 2-framing him not getting his side B back. He doesn't deserve his side B back. Anyone saying he deserves his side B back wants to be miserable. Could you imagine playing Little Mac if he was good? Little Mac, when he was good, if he's good, would be like it's still miserable to fight Little Mac. Like, I camp versus Little Max in tournament because I have to, because Little Mac is scary. Could you imagine a character that actually recovered and is Little Mac? No, I don't even care. I don't want a mid tier. He should deserve to be in the bottom. Next up is Isabelle. Isabelle's recovery is in this tier. So here's the thing about Isabelle. This is one of the characters that you start having to value distance over edge guard ability. Right? Isabelle, in theory, obviously, if no one's going off stage, has a very good recovery. You have a tether when it comes to side B. Your up B goes super far. You have the ability to swing back on people trying to edgeguard with forward air and back air if you're for some reason facing the other way. But if you up B, you don't have a hitbox. So it means that people can wait and then hit you for it and then send you back off stage. And if you aren't close enough to tether, you need to up B and not have a hitbox. So then you can just die. Again, is it good? Yes, it is clearly one of the better recoveries in the game, for sure. You can go into the stage, you can avoid a bunch of stuff. You have a wall jump for some reason, I think. Or is it just Villager that has a wall jump? I actually don't know. I don't care. It's still a good recovery. It's just exploitable. Like, if it wasn't exploitable, it would be up here, because it clearly goes super far. But it is exploitable, so it's going to be down here. Does that make sense? Next up is Rosalina and Luma. Rosa is in a very similar position to Isabelle, but with one big advantage, which is the fact that it goes fast. Rosa's recovery goes very fast, so if you are wrong at all off stage, she now has center, right? She now recovers. She has the advantaged position, which is really, really good for her, because if you try to cover her low and she just up Bs, now she's literally in center stage, you have to recover, you're in a bad position. Obviously, Rosa does not have a hitbox on her recovery, but of course, you can kind of have a hitbox when you go high, because then, like, Luma's falling, and has the ability to do stuff, even though Rosa technically doesn't, which is obviously a plus. She's also floaty, so she's going to get a lot of distance. She has many mix-ups, and the recovery goes far, right? You have the up B hold, like basic up B hold back, which means you're just going to go straight up. There's plenty of mix-ups for this character. I think it is like really underrated how good the up B is. Again, is it edge guardable? Yes, but can they just decide to go high anyway? And then if you hit them high and they're not at death percent, they're just going to then float down towards the stage because it's Rosa, and that's like what they do on purpose anyway. Yeah. Like, also you have like access to like double jump up air, double jump side B, double jump forward air if you're trying to edge guard and they're like not super far away. So it can be pretty annoying to edge guard this character. Lucas's recovery is probably in the lower end of this. I have to remember that like tethers are better than I personally think they are, because I'm personally really good at edge guarding them. So I'd say Lucas's recovery is definitely very above average. It is one of the better recoveries in the game. You have access to tethers, you have magnet to stall, but it does importantly turn you around so you can tether, which is very, very important. And it goes far, right? And it's not like Ness, where if you get in the middle of his up B, whether it's the ball or the body, the distance is less. So you're totally fine in that regard. The only thing is if people are off stage far enough that they interrupt your up B, you're gonna die. Or if they are good at edge guarding tethers, that can be an issue. So again, I think Pikachu has literally an easier time edge guarding Lucas than Ness, because you're not worried about dying at 52 and untechable, whereas opposed to Lucas, if you're wrong, you're going to take 25% from up B, but you're going to be fine. But that's a personal thing. Clearly, Lucas's recovery is like actually better. Again, it just goes really far. It's hard to mess with for a lot of characters. It zooms pretty fast once the up B hits you, and again, he has a tether recovery. He has a good double jump. He has one of the good air dodges. So it's pretty solid overall. Like, there's not really that many flaws other than the up B startup thing, but again, only certain characters are able to really exploit that, because they have to like go really far down or really far out, because most Lucas players aren't doing that up B close to stage, because it would be a death sentence, and they're not that stupid. Like the video if you're not a stupid Lucas main. Next up, we are going back to one of the elite character recoveries, which is going to be Meta Knight. I don't know whose is better out of Meta Knight's and Rob's. I'm willing to say that it's Rob, because if Rob goes high, his recovery is a little bit better. Whereas Meta Knight kind of still needs to like falling aerial or something, but Rob's falling aerials are better. But Meta Knight obviously has 5 mid-air jumps. All of his special moves are good for recovery. His up B goes super far vertically, his side B goes far whichever direction he wants to go. Down B makes him invincible and then just recovers to ledge or to platforms. And then neutral B can go really fast, really far horizontally. If someone's trying to edge guard, you can get like some type of reversal or something. It is very, very good. It's obviously not, I don't think, as good as Rob, because you can lose your well, I think the thing is, it's really hard to lose all of your jumps if you are Meta Knight, and if you are, you just kind of side B and hope they don't have a spike that outranges side B, which is like, there's not that many spikes that would do that. It's like, unless you're getting 2-framed, like Cloud's down air, or like Rob's down air, or Ivysaur's down air, but most downers can't mess with that. So it's just really solid. He is clearly one of the best recoveries in the game. That's why he can go edge guard super far. Like, it's very rare that I've seen a Meta Knight get truly, like, for lack of a better term, like gimped at like low percent. Like, neither of these characters are dying at low percent. The lowest percent you're going to do is like Pikachu thundering you. And again, I'm biased and I'm aware of that. To me, it's harder to edge guard Rob than Meta Knight. I personally think it's easier to edge guard Rob because he's off stage longer. Like, Meta Knight has more reversals, in my opinion. But I think Rob, just his ability to go high is just better. So it's better in that regard. You see Rob get gimped more than Meta Knight. You see Rob more than Meta Knight. That's not fair. Next up, we have Sora. So Sora is the next edition of, technically it goes really far, but it's pretty easy to edge guard overall. So Sora's recovery, in theory, goes very far. It is one of the most max distance recoveries in the game, including when you have no double jump, because you have up B and then 3 hits of side B. However, I think this recovery is pretty exploitable. You just have to like not get hit by the thunder they're going to do when they double jump, and then up B is exploitable both sides. And then, of course, if you are able to time, or like, you know where they're going to go with side B1, it's just a timing thing. It's 1, 2, 3, right? And so you're able to, especially if you can go off stage and hit the side B1, they just, because they have to go left or right with those side Bs, they can't do the first side B in any direction they want. It has to be left or right. Most of the times they can't go further off stage because they're not going to make it. So they have to go towards the stage, and then you simply just kill them. Maybe my brain is biased because I'm one of the best edge guarders in the world, and that's okay. But like, I kill Sora's recovery with like most characters I play. It's not just Pika. Like, I kill it with Mii Brawler. I kill it with anyone that has any type of spike. Okay, maybe it's a little bit better than this. I think maybe Sora's recovery is more like here, but I don't think it's in the you are fine bro tier, because it's actually very easy to edge guard it relative to how far it goes and relative to, I guess, people's perspective on it. You just have to get good at timing your hits. That's it. This is way harder to deal with online. Get fucking better internet. I don't fucking know. Online isn't real. Online isn't real. If anything is happening online, it's not real. How dare you have that opinion? Okay, next up is the pits. I'm actually gonna have Dark Pit on the tier list for once. I think Dark Pit is low-key. His recovery's not that good. I think his up B is fast, but again, it falls really slow. So like the difference between Pit and Rosalina's recovery is Rosa just goes whoosh and then falls and you're fine, whereas Pit, if you go high, just kind of goes up B, and then like stationary falls a little bit, and is really floaty and bad in that regard. So obviously you have your 3 double jumps, you have arrows to potentially help, you have multi jumps in general, you have side B. Side B is not even particularly good for the recovery, because you can just kind of like run to the edge, shield, and then they have to like bounce off of it, and then you can punish them for it. So like I mean, I guess better than people think probably isn't true, because that's what the name of the tier is. But again, I'm just relative to like it's here. I definitely think it's not an elite recovery. I think it's like good for if you're like going to edge guard, right? Pit's a good edge guarder, but it's not like, Pit's off stage, I guess I can't hit him. He's off stage. Like, definitely not. Like, he's definitely a mess withable recovery, even though the distance is far. I should rename that tier. Don't worry, I got you. Your mom. Random character, Sephiroth, bro. His recovery's good. His up B is one of the hardest character, one of the hardest moves to edgeguard in the entire game. It goes pretty far. It does 1,000,000,000%. You can't drop shield and do anything. You can't parry and hit it. It's just good. It's really, really good. Obviously, if he doesn't have double jump and you hit him really far off, he's gonna die. But if he has wing, he has 2 double jumps and better airspeed. Like, his recovery is exploitable when he doesn't have wing. If you are a character specifically like Pika that can drag him off stage very low percent and very far off stage, most characters can't do that. So, like, very few characters are ever going to edge guard Sephiroth. He also has the mix-up of fast up B versus slow up B, so if you try to position yourself to hit the slow up B, he just zips to the ledge anyway. So covering both of those is really, really difficult, while also respecting up air, while also making sure that, like, you're not getting, like, hit by, like, any wing thing or giving him wing. King K. Rool. So K. Rool is this tier. I think that this recovery is a lot more exploitable than people are doing currently, especially with, what was it, Brujo winning, and then there was the online tournament that, I forget what the Japanese K. Rool's name is, but it's like, again, it goes far, right? Up B is annoying to deal with sometimes if you aren't good at recovering or good at edge guarding it, but all you have to do is go towards the center of the stage, like drop off, double jump back air, recover, drop off, double jump back air, recover, over and over and over again. But if your character is very big, so you can't really get into the inside of that, or like if K. Rool's able to get far enough in, then it becomes an issue because it's really hard to two-frame the character. It's really hard to hit above the up B. So like, they need to get all that way, which is hard to do because you need your double jump, you need your crown, you need your up airs, and if you are able to go out and hit them during any of those, then it is really, really hard. But it's like, you know, it's fine. Like, it's not good. Like, I'm never comfortable when I'm K. Rool and I'm off stage, but it's better than, like, I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Ryu's is kind of in the same area where, like, technically it goes far, but it's pretty easy to mess with. Tatsu has a bunch of end lag. You can trade with Shoryu. He has focus, which helps against, like, the single hitting edge guarders. Like, they get one guess, basically. But overall, it is kind of okay. Like, again, it goes far in theory. But I think it's, like, worse than Falcon's, because Falcon, well, if he doesn't have a double jump, he at least has side B up B. So, like, it technically goes farther, but again, it's very exploitable, in my opinion, and it doesn't go as far as someone like K. Rool's. So I think that is a fair shot. Where's Byleth? Byleth's up here, right? I think that Byleth has the best... I think that the only problem with Byleth's recovery is the fact that you have the slowest tether startup of all the tethers, as far as I'm aware. He doesn't have a great tether bounce, and his airspeed is pretty bad. Again, it is, I think, the farthest tether in the game, which helps. But I don't think it's quite as good as everyone thinks. Again, this is probably my bias of I don't think it's hard to edgeguard tether characters unless you have a character with no active hitboxes when it comes to edgeguarding. Sorry, Zero Suit Samus. But I think it's, like, fine. I mean, you have your tether bounce, you have your double jump, you have up B, you have up Bing the stage on stages like Kalos, or like if you can grab the underside of like Battlefield and stuff like that. I don't think it's like I don't think it's like crazy good, because again, it's like if you just hit the tether once or twice, Like you hit the double jump, you hit the tether, they're dead. So again, I think it's easier to edgeguard Byleth than like Bowser Jr. I think Bowser Jr.'s recovery is better. Boop, random character, Wario. Bro, you're fine. Like, obviously, you need your resources to make it back with Wario. The amount of times I see Wario get edgeguarded for not having bike are like once every 3 months. It's almost never happens. His up B is surprisingly big and hard to mess with. He has a great double jump, he has amazing airspeed, and bike is crazy. Like, bike is probably the second best recovery move in the game. That isn't the recovery move, like additional recovery move. I hate this recovery. I think it's so hard to mess with. He has the ability to stall so far. His up B goes surprisingly far. He has a good ledge snap. It's crazy. And then like his airspeed is just so good. So he can just like, if he gets hit anywhere high, he just goes jump, bike, and it's fine. If he goes low, then good luck messing with it. Like bike is so annoyingly hard to hit just because of how it works. What if you don't have bike? Then you have fart. I called it fart. You have waft sometimes, and again, up B's really hard to mess with. It's like so hard to like actually edgeguard this character regardless. He just like recovers high, mashes Phantom Footstool, air dodges up B's. It's so annoying. Hate that character's recovery. Next up, we're doing a Peach and Daisy, which again, I'm gonna actually put Daisy here because I always put Peach. I think Peach's recovery is crazy good. Well, I think it's probably the top of this tier because the thing is, float is broken. It's worse than Bowser Jr.'s. I think this is fair. I think it is harder to mess with Peach and Daisy's recovery than it is some of these other characters, but the raw distance it goes is not great because up B doesn't go that far. And it is a little bit slow, so you have the potential to get edge guards on her. Like, again, is it gonna happen super often? No. But she can't really just like recover high for free because her descending aerials are like good when it comes to like down air, but like she has a bad air dodge, bad fast fall air dodge, so you don't really wanna be there. So it's definitely not like the elite level recoveries unless no one's messing with you. Then obviously it's just like double jump uppy. Hard to two-frame the character, hard to edgeguard her. Again, like I play very good edgeguarding characters and it's still sometimes a struggle. I think it's definitely like top 10-ish. Yeah, I might move these two up this tier, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm just leaving them for now. Richter. It's down here. I think that the air mobility being really bad is bad. I think you have 3 tethers, which is cool. I guess your up B is kind of good, but the problem is like the problem with the Belmonts and same thing with Min Min and a lot of the tether recoveries, you can just get hit off stage before you even get to do those things because it takes you so long to get to the position where your recovery has mix-ups that a lot of characters can just run up, hit you, run up, like pretty easily. Which is kind of the problem, right? Like even the characters that are up here that it's like, it's exploitable. It's like, okay, well they get to their areas fast. They have invincibility. They have multiple options here where it's like, you're gonna tether. And if you can't tether, you're gonna up B. And that's how the recovery works. You can't really up B early when it comes to the Belmonts because their air mobility is so bad. Again, it's not down here bad, but it's bad. It's really bad. And again, thank you for all the support, chat. I appreciate it. See, this is why I should be doing tier lists. Falco. The only reason Falco's in this tier, I think maybe he's a little bit lower than Ike, is the fact that he has one of the best ledge snaps in the game. It's so far. It is crazy how far his up B will grab the ledge from. It's actual insanity how far that is. Obviously he has side B, double jump. He has great double jump because Falco jumps really high. His up B goes really far. It's a little bit hard to mess with. Like it's not actually, again, I'm not trying to be like Pika brained. Like Pika edgeguards the shit out of this character. But I think overall it's pretty hard for characters to edgeguard Falco. Unless you have a really fast big spike, which isn't super common. His side B has more ambiguity than Fox's does. I think Fox's recovery is definitely worse just because of the fact that Fox is like more fast volley and has a worse double jump. Also Falco has an a wall jump, so he's able to like side B under the stage, has amazing double jump, and then wall jump like up air or wall jump air dodge or things like that. Can Falco also do the invincible 2-frame side B? Yes. His side B is just a little slower, so his side B is a little bit worse than Fox's, but I think his double jump being better just makes the recovery better than Fox's for sure. Speaking of which, let's just get Fox out of the way, because I feel like everyone thinks this character's recovery is fucking like down here for some reason. Anytime I hate Fox players. If you're a Fox player, fucking die. No. I hate Fox players though, because they pretend like their recovery is the most exploitable thing in the game when they're only gonna get edge guarded by like 5 characters, or if you really fuck up your decision making, you have a non-2-frameable side B. I mean, it's not up here, it's not a good recovery, it's just way better than people give it credit for. I think Fox's recovery is like totally fine. I'm very rarely scared off stage against these characters, unless you're specifically fighting like Pichu, Pika, like characters with just like, I can cover high and then kill you going low, which that's not many characters. That's like the really good edge guarding characters. You know who's not gonna kill Fox off stage, Meta Knight? He's one of the best edge guarders in the game. He just doesn't have a spike. All the Foxes just pretend he has the worst fucking recovery in the game as they consistently just side B without a 2-frame or just constantly make it back from bubble with no double jump. Why can it do that? Fox's recovery's fine. It's good. It's better than these characters, for sure. I think it's a lot worse if you have a projectile that covers the side B spacing. So you mean Pikachu, Pichu, Rob, not even Samus, like things won't go that low unless you're gonna run off stage and do charge shot, in which case then they just up B high and get around it. And yeah, Shine also stalls off stage, which is annoying. And he has like double jump fair for extra distance. It's good, it's fine. Mario's definitely one of the better recoveries. Not necessarily because it like goes super far or it's crazy, it has so many mix-ups. Just up B's really good. Up B is hard to edge guard. It is invincible on startup, it is really disjointed. And the risk of edge guarding it, especially when you're close to the stage, is getting stage spiked at literally 0 and dying. So it's really good for that. It's really, really good for that. He also has great air mobility, so he just simply goes far. Obviously, if you don't have a double jump and you get hit low, you're gonna die. But I definitely think it is probably like better than Kazuya's. Like overall, like if none of these characters have a double jump, they're all gonna die. But Mario, at least his up B's his up B's better than all these up B's for sure. And he also has Fireball to cover his like off stage. So like if you jump out too early, just bloop. He also has Cape to mess with you. It's annoying. Yeah, he also like, I guess like Cape being a thing, like a reflector being there is important because one, it stalls, and two, it just like, you know, if someone like tries to shoot a projectile to edge guard, like all these characters have to counter or air dodge, whereas Mario just goes bloop. You're fine. Hi, Caden. Joker's recovery is really good. Joker's recovery is the best tether recovery in the game. Again, Pikachu, personally, well, okay, here's the thing. Non-Arsene Joker's up here. Arsene Joker's down here. So I guess overall, he's gonna go here. When he doesn't have Arsene, like obviously Arsene goes far and has invincibility, but it's very easy to rinse repeat edge guard because it is a hitbox with no recovery that's not that fast. Like if there's certain spacings where you can hold down when you're invincible and then grab the ledge invincibly, but those are like pretty tight and I don't see Jokers go for them. I don't know if they're just bad, who knows? But Joker just, he still goes far. His tether is ridiculous. He has gun dash, he has down gun if someone tries to approach him, he has up gun if people try to approach him. His tether bounce is really good. His air mobility is pretty decent. Why doesn't Doc's cape stall? Because it doesn't deserve it. Joker's base up be better than Byleth's? No, but Joker has gun. You can also, you know, counter things like projectiles to like either counter them if he is an Arsene or just get a bunch of meter if he isn't Arsene. So like again, obviously Pika particularly can edgeguard Joker really easily, really well, but most characters can't do that. And Rose's up B is better than Arsene Joker's, even if it has no invincibility. You want to know a funny one? Lucario? Bro is fine. Bro is fine. Like, there's literally one way to edgeguard this character, which is incredibly preemptively, or just hoping that you guess which of their billion angles they can do. It goes so far without any aura. When it has aura, it's ridiculous. His air mobility is good. He can stall with down air. His up B just goes crazy far. His up B is insane, and it has a hitbox that can like sometimes reverse. I don't exactly understand how the reverse hitboxes work or anything like that. It just goes so far. It goes crazy far. It's hard to control for cowards and for people that don't play Lucario. But yeah, I think Lucario's recovery is like, it's crazy. Like you do have an opportunity to hit it when it's like, okay, I think you're gonna go above the stage, and you just kind of swing a move and then you like back up if that wasn't the case. So you can sometimes try to mess with it. Unlike Wario's where like he just goes high and you're like, oh, that was Wario. Oh, I got landing up here. Oh man. Yeah, it's one of the best recoveries in the game. It's something that like no one talks about. Again, personally, do I personally edgeguard sometimes? Yeah, because I can thunder, I can downer with me brawler. I'm gonna try to hit that timing, but it's really hard. It's really, really hard to do. He can also like shoot aura spheres to kind of get you away from it, at least chunk your shield and stuff. So he also has wall cling, which again isn't super relevant because it's literally one stage, but it's a thing. I'm gonna put Inkling's recovery here. This one's hard. Inkling's a tough one to call, but for now I'm gonna put Inkling here because obviously you have roller, jump, up B at all times. Roller is not actually good to like dissuade edge guards. It just goes far. However, I do think that the hitbox at the beginning of your up B is what maybe puts it up here, but also there's like never a hitbox. So like it's either the top of this tier or the bottom of this tier. It's very, very close for me. Just because like Inkling, again, it goes really far. It's hard to 2-frame, but like it doesn't have a hitbox, and the stats of Inkling themselves aren't very good. And if you're a character that can just like go off stage and hit the roller double jump, then you're fine. You can also like grab ledge and then double jump aerial this like somewhat consistently. Again, not every character has access to that type of edgeguard, so it's like not super easy to mess with. It is mess withable, but generally the Inklings aren't going to die to this stuff. They're just gonna take damage, which I guess is fine. Inkling is way better than Junior. You're on drugs. Inkling can't recover high. This character recovers high better than every character in the game other than this fucker. Definitely wouldn't put Inkling in the same tier as Fox. Yeah, you're right. Fox's recovery is better. Here you go. Are the tiers ordered? I'm gonna go through them again. So far, yes. Loosely. Like, don't be like, oh, X is better than Inklings. Like, that's fine. But like, you know, like chunks of 3 are probably about the correct. Greninja. Greninja's recovery, low key, not that good. The thing about Greninja's recovery is I feel like a lot, it's fake good. Because his up B, you can hit him out of his up B. Side B has a billion years of lag, so you can't really side B. But he has enough angles with his up B that I guess it's fine. No, I'm putting it here. I think Fox's recovery is better than Greninja's. But like you can't non-2-frameably do stuff with Greninja. You have like stall with neutral B, I guess. But I think that Greninja's recovery is just overrated because people don't realize how unsafe going for side B up B is. Like if he doesn't have a double jump and he goes for side B, most characters in the game can literally just run off and like hit him. If you have a spike, you literally just run off spike. And if you don't have a spike, you just do run off, double jump aerial, and you hit him off stage, and then he has no resources, and then you just like back air his up B over and over again. But he does have a good double jump, but he's also a fast faller, which kind of hurts him. So I don't know. Like I think it's one of the worst aspects of the character. So I don't know. Yoshi. Yoshi's recovery is fine. Like it's really good. I think it's good. It's especially good if you have everything. The thing about it is like his double jump is so good because armor. And it goes so far, and you can just get out of situations. If you double jump up, you're just going to recover high, and it's fine. But if you don't have your double jump, obviously the recovery is a lot worse. He does have a good air dodge, and he has amazing air mobility and the ability to move around a lot with eggs. That can also dissuade people's recoveries. Like, I thought this recovery, like, if I hadn't fought Yoshidora, I would say his recovery is here, and then Yoshidora's recoveries were simply different. He doesn't have Wonder Wing, though, but he has armor, so I'm gonna, yeah. I think that's about here. You can footstool them out of it, but then if they footstool, you just do double jump air dodge, and you're fine. Like, the amount of times that you are in a position to actually footstool Yoshi recovery is very, very low, because they can simply double jump the other way. Like, they don't have to, like, I feel like a lot of the lower level Yoshis, and not even lower level Yoshis, but like the not top 3 or 4 Yoshis will like double jump towards stage most of the time, whereas you can simply double jump away and then B reverse egg, and you go like higher than God. Like the recovery is so high because of the egg boosting. It's one of the better recoveries in the game, in my opinion. It's just like if you don't have double jump and you get hit pretty low, you're literally dead. Like you can't recover, which is the only negative of this. Corrin. Corrin's recovery is in this tier somewhere. Is it better than Fox's? Yeah, it's better than Fox's, but it's like not great. Like it's a little hard to mess with if you don't know what you're doing, but like a lot of characters can just put a hitbox where the up B is going and then just kind of hit it, which is a little bit rough. But it does go far, right? You have the dissuading with pin, you have counter, you have the ability to swing back with up airs and forward airs and stuff. So it's a little bit tricky, neutral B as well. But it's definitely like one of the weaker parts of the character because there are certain characters that it's just like, oh, you're off stage, which is a little bit annoying for them. Let's go Olimar. This recovery a pain in the ass. It's so funny. Olimar, in my opinion, has the best recovery that doesn't have a hitbox. You want to know why? Because he has hitboxes with purple Pikmin that he throws at you, and then he up Bs faster than God. His up B is so fast when he has no Pikmin. He has so many crazy mix-ups. If you can avoid Sonic's edge guarding, your recovery's fine. Like, your recovery's totally fine. Also, I think Sephiroth is too low. I think Olimar's recovery is crazy fast. It is so fast for no reason. And it also got nerfed. It used to literally be better because it had more fuel, which is insane to me. But yeah, you have the ability to like double jump and do your sword aerials if people are too close to you. You have armor, and you have up B to go under the stage or just go. It's insane. He's so fast. It's crazy. So the uppie's just so good. And then you can of course do uppies and aerials, so you have the ability to recover high if you want to. If someone commits too early or they're not a great character, generally just go whoop and then just land with down air and auto cancel it. It's so annoying. Like, it should be easier to edgeguard Olimar, but it is not. It's so the maneuverability. Thank you for the word, chat. The maneuverability is just so high. Boop. Give me a character. Cloud. You want to know a hot take? No, you have limit. Cloud with no limit is a worse recovery than Ness, but then Cloud gets limit. And Limit Cloud has a good-ass recovery. So, is Cloud's recovery better than Inkling's? No. Because you use dive a lot more as Cloud. Like, Cloud is still susceptible off stage. Obviously, the buffs to his recovery really helped. He has limit sometimes. He has the ability to swing back with his forward airs and stuff like that. It's not super easy to two-frame his recovery. It's not easy to edgeguard it because of the lessened duration of the move before you can grab the ledge, which is really, really important. Again, it's not a good recovery. It's just not, like, you know, it used to be down here. Like, his recovery legitimately used to be down here. Same with Corrin's, actually. Corrin's also got buffed. And then they buffed it like a whole tier, which is enough for the character to suddenly become really good. Yeah, I think it's fine. Limit's obviously really good. It's really hard to mess with Limit Uppy. He has a billion mix-ups in that case, but he just doesn't have the mix-ups when he doesn't have Limit. But it's just like, hey, here's the check. Can you do it? And the answer is most likely no. Yeah, you also have the bonus of the fact that if you hit with the Uppy, people just die, which is nice. Samus. Samus's recovery is, in my opinion, very hard to edgeguard. If she has no double jump, she bombs and bombs and bombs, and then Uppy is really good. She has a tether. It's not an obligate tether, so you can kind of get in the way, but like, she's floaty, so she gets to recover really far. She has really good mix-ups with bomb. Like, obviously there are certain characters that can just like ignore bomb and kill her as she's doing them, but those are pretty rare. Or it's like Cloud, they're just gonna jump back here, hit the bomb, dead. But Samus's high recovery is annoying to mess with because she can just go backwards. She can charge shot when she's down there. Yeah, it's like surprisingly hard to beat her Uppy as well. Uppy's like not an easy move to edgeguard because like there's a little bit of timing mix-ups which are going to make big differences. So yeah, I think the recovery is like super underrated by a lot of people. I think people think this recovery is like really exploitable and then you never ever see it. I'm gonna do Mii Gunner. Mii Gunner's recovery, I feel like the bad recoveries of Mii Gunner don't matter because no one uses those sets, and if you do, you shouldn't. It's honestly, it's like really good. I think Mii Gunner's recovery is very good because of the fact that you have the ability to forward air, right? Like double jump fair by itself if you're facing the correct way, which you do because you just like turn around with charge shot or down B or something, you just go whoosh. It's so far. It's really hard to edgeguard. The maneuverability you have on the Uppy is really good. Again, personally, I will edgeguard the character because I play Pikachu. But if it's not a Pikachu thing, then you just get around. Like, you just get around stuff and you just recover over and over and over again. You have the ability to shoot projectiles to make it easier. You have forward air to poke with it. You have your, like, various neutral Bs. You have bomb. You have, like, so many things to make it hard to edgeguard you. And then we have Mii Brawler. When Mii Brawler is also, in my opinion, I think Mii Brawler's recovery is, like, really good. I think it's at the very least better than Sword Fighter. I would say it's like here. Obviously, if you chunk out all of Mii Brawler's resources, the recovery's not good. But I personally run BDK. So I'm going to be talking about BDK, which I know is different than the other Miis that I did because I'm kind of averaging them. Shut up. Mii Brawler's really good. Mii Brawler's recovery is really good. He has an amazing side B for recovery if you're using BDK. You have flip jump, which is good. It's not as good as Zero Suits for recovery because it is a lot easier to hit. But it also, like, the recovering high is way better because you just double jump, down B, kick, and like almost no one's gonna mess with that, and you just go so far. You also have potentially shot put to aid your recovery, which I personally do. You also have flashing Mach Punch to stall your recovery, or if someone tries to attack you, just and it's invincible. It's really good. I think it's really good. I think Thrupper is really hard to mess with. I think Heli Kick is probably the easiest to edgeguard, but if you are wrong, you're gonna get Heli Kick footstooled, which is pretty good. Doesn't BDK go farther if you B reverse it? Yes, but also you can kind of double jump backwards and then BDK super far, or you can just like take your hit stun, move a little bit to the left if you're not like near the blast zone, and then just down side B go really far. Or you can like double jump close to the stage, someone tries to edgeguard you, you drift back, and then you side B to the ledge. It's really good. In my opinion, I think Mii Brawler's recovery, if Mii Brawler didn't have a good recovery, I wouldn't play the character because I don't play characters with bad recoveries because I hate that feeling of being one of these characters. Like, I used to play Min Min and then I dropped her simply because she had a bad recovery. There was no other reason. I was good with Min Min. She covers the matchup for Pika really well, and I said, I can't do that. I simply can't. So, Mii Brawler. Is Roy's recovery worse than Aegis's? Roy's recovery, it's still not very good, right? Because, like, the good, I guess, is kind of just like, I guess, I mean, if people don't know how to edgeguard it, you're going to lose. The reason that I put Roy's recovery higher than Aegis is, I feel like Aegis has more mix-ups, but Roy has airspeed. And airspeed's really important because you're simply going to get closer to the ledge. Up B is transcendent, which is a little bit hard to edgeguard for some people. It is big, and if you don't have a projectile, then you're struggling, or like a really disjointed thing. But like there are enough mix-ups because it's fast fall. You can up B slightly higher, grab the ledge without a 2-frame, go lower, go even higher than the where you'd be grabbing the ledge if someone jumps at you, and then just fast fall, which is totally fine. If you have your double jump, it's great. If you don't, I mean, to be honest, with all these characters, if you don't have a double jump, you're gonna die, except for like Pit and K. Rool, and then you're just going to get rinse repeated over and over again. So like all these characters, if they don't have a double jump, are dead. It doesn't matter. It's transcendent. Well, like aerials are transcendent, but like it doesn't beat projectiles. So yeah, doesn't worry have bad drift. He just forward airs, gets his drift, and then upbees. But yeah, I think Roy's recovery is definitely exploitable, but you have to be like a character that is good at exploiting it, as opposed to some of these other characters that like are a little bit more exploitable. But also, his recovery doesn't go high vertically, so I'm going to put it lower. No, it's got super armor. It doesn't have super armor in there. Kirby. Low-key, Kirby's recovery is kind of bad. I think it's like the second worst thing about Kirby. I think Kirby's recovery is down here. Technically, it goes far, but it's really easy to mess with because the hitbox on Uppy does not go far, so you have to recover high. He has multiple double jumps. He has like the ability to like jump and up air you, but it's not great overall. I think it's worse than like all these characters because like these characters probably don't go as far, but like are way harder to mess with. So I think Kirby's recovery is pretty bad. Like I edgeguard, like so many characters hit Kirby's recovery for free. Like I don't know, it's bad. I don't think it's good. So for Dono, I was given the choice of Steve or Game & Watch, and I'm gonna go with Game & Watch. Game & Watch's recovery is the best one so far because Up B is broken. It is so hard to 2-frame this character. You have to just guess on timing. You have the ability to Up B high. It's invincible. You can air dodge afterwards. You can bucket projectile, so you can't like do things. If you recover high, it's totally. If someone tries to go edgeguard you, just up B high and you're fine. Literally, just people just spin the wheel. They spin the wheel. Can I get this 2-frame? And the answer is probably no. And then he has like also buckets and like zooms across the fucking. Like he just flies for some reason. I don't know why they made him do that. It's super broken. It's crazy good. Mewtwo. Mewtwo's recovery is kind of down here. It's probably a little bit better than Inklings. I would say it's worse than Inklings just because if Mewtwo doesn't have resources, it's a little rough because all you have is teleport, and teleport goes very far and is quite good. But like he's floaty, he can go high, I guess. You have the ability to like do the jump side B, a little weird thing where he goes like extra high, but then you lose all your air mobility. But like he can do non-2-frameable recoveries, which is nice because it's a teleport. But I think you have to be like his teleport isn't far enough, and it also has too much. Like he doesn't fall fast enough after he stops up being in order for it to be like a really truly good high recovery, in my opinion, which, I think it's like significantly worse than. I'll just go over the next character in Palutena. Palutena's recovery is fucking crazy. I think Palutena's recovery is like high-key one of the best recoveries in the game because it is super easy for her to get non-2-frameable upbees. The warp goes really far. She has plenty of ways to anti-edgeguard with like side B and neutral B, and if you ever jump at her in like any type of committal way, she just upbees high and either ledge cancels because it's very far, or just like flies across the stage, kind of like what Rosa does, but better because you also are invincible when you teleport, and you can also shorten your teleport, and it's really good and really annoying. It's like high key. This recovery is so good. It is so good. Like, yes, are there specific positions where she doesn't have a double jump and she has to recover low, and that specific characters like Pika can kill her with like Nair drag down air? Yeah. How many people are edgeguarding Palu like that? Y'all have, okay, if you think Palu's recovery is bad, you've never played a good Palu. Like, legitimately. The problem with Palu's uppy is it's kind of slow, so often you can just hit her off stage before she's invincible. Who's hitting her? Big Duck Hunt fans in the chat, so we're gonna go over Big Duck Hunt. It's kind of bad. Is it worse than K. Rool's? I'm taking 2-frames into account. Sometimes. The biggest problem with Duck Hunt's recovery is the fact that even when you can, first off, the recovery goes far, but it's slow. The recovery is very slow, so if you're able to position yourself well, Duck Hunt can't do as much as you would think they can. Of course, they have down B to help and neutral B to help, but I think it just kind of has top 5 air dodge too. Does it? Is it that far? The fact that you can wall jump out of your up B is kind of nice. Can you do up B wall jump air dodge or no? Also splash, I can go whoever after. Is it? I think it's like better than Ness's. I think it's better than Greninja's. It's worse than Fox's. Kirby's is too high. But yeah, I just think that like Duck Hunt's a little too exploitable. So it's one of these where it's just like they're good if you don't hit them. I think it's comparable, right? It's like these are like theory bad. Oh, they're gonna get away with it a bunch though, which is fine. Snake. I mean, Snake's recovery is like objectively good, right? Like you're gonna get juggled, but like it's objectively like pretty good. I think that Snake's low recovery is bad. I mean, it depends, I guess, on how you're doing it. But it's like pretty easy to edgeguard. Again, assuming you're not like a Shulk who can't hit people off of Cypher. It's really easy to spike this recovery, but there's a billion little mix-ups of grenades and C4s, and like you just have to know too much. And like certain players know a lot. Certain players know too much. But like you just have the ability to go high is always going to be really nice. It puts you in a different position, but like, have you recovered? I don't know. Like if you're getting juggled by Palu because you were off stage and did double jump uppy, are you still recovering or are you getting juggled? It's hard to tell. So it's hard to know what that is like kind of treated as, in my opinion. But his low recovery is pretty bad in my opinion. His air dodge is really easy to like because of the way his mobility works, it's really easy to tell when he's gonna air dodge to ledge and just hit him for it with an easy 2-frame, or not 2-frame, but like hit him before he grabs ledge. You can footstool him out of like grenade and C4 explosions if you're able to. Yeah, it's just, I think it's I think it's good, but I think people are like, it's crazy broken, it's up here. It's like, no, it's not as good as Lucario's. Lucario's is crazy. Also, this is probably gonna be like the thing people get the most mad at me for, but Lucario's recovery is crazy. But like also, most of the times that you see like, oh my god, this crazy snake recovery, how did Hurt do that? It's like the player fucked up. Like, Zomba should have edgeguarded him. Who was the other crazy one? Spargo should have edgeguarded him. Like, they messed up, which is fine. Pichu! The thing about Pichu, the recovery is obviously, distance-wise, one of the best in the game. But it is so easy to 2-frame. It's literally impossible for this character to not get 2-framed. Or sorry, to avoid getting 2-framed in terms of like non-2-frameable angles. It's like the worst 2-frame in the game by far, and it's so easy to do because you just have to time zip, and you just have to time either 1-zip or 2-zip, and you're gonna get 2-framed. It goes crazy far. It doesn't have hitbox, obviously, so if someone's trying to offstage to edgeguard you, they potentially can if they're guessing right, but that's a little crazy. But the 2-frame is too easy. The 2-frame it's just too easy, and he also gets hurt. So like the more you're off stage, the worse you're gonna be, and the more times things are gonna kill you. Ice Climber's recovery, it's somewhere in this tier, right? I think again, there's a lot of good recoveries in this game. It's not as good as people think. So the thing about Ice Climbers is, obviously, I'm not even gonna, like, Popo, like, solo Popo recovery does come into this where it's pretty bad. But even, like, I'm talking about, like, just both Ice Climbers. The problem is, you can easily edgeguard this character if they go for uppy, because you uppy, like, you jump off stage, Nana uppies, grabs the ledge, and you drop down and hit Popo with a spike or a move, and then Nana's just there and weird, and if Ice Climbers doesn't have a double jump, then they have to just side B immediately, and then you just hit them and die. Or like kill Nana or something like that, which is a little bit rough for that regard. Side B is good for recovery though, and like there are plenty of times that like Ice Climbers just, you can't really mess with it. Like the high recovery they have with side B is simply so good, like just like going on stage, that like it's pretty good. And you can side B and like stall and do weird things off stage to grab ledge in specific positions, which is really, really nice. But also their uppy doesn't work sometimes. So like, I forget that like sometimes, like you just uppy hit someone and then Po just goes, and just for no reason. I don't know why they do that. It's definitely better than these recoveries. Jigglypuff, it's Puff. Obviously, it's a really good recovery. It's really hard to mess with. Her air mobility is too good. She has a billion moves you can do. Again, specific characters can edgeguard it, like Pika specifically, but I think that Puff, it means good jumps, good air mobility, great air dodge. What more is there to say? Not a lot of bad recoveries. To be fair, there are plenty of bad recoveries that I haven't talked about yet. Speaking of which, Chrom. Is Chrom's recovery worse than Little Max? Yeah, that's crazy. Chrom's recovery is really bad. It's the thing that prevents him from being top tier. If Chrom literally had Roy's uppy, he's top 5. Yeah, you have air dodge and uppy. And like you have really good air mobility, which is like a plus, but you're also a fast faller, and then your uppy is literally the worst uppy in the game for recovering. DK. DK's recovery is in this tier. Oh no, it's not. Nah, yeah, it is. I'm just gonna move Aegis down here. DK's recovery is better than Aegis. I think DK's recovery is pretty bad. I think it's literally just like people not knowing how to edgeguard it, or people get antsy. It's really easy to 2-frame him. He doesn't have a hitbox really above him. It's really bad. Like he also has like no verticality in his uppy, so if you spike him a single time, he's just dead at like 25. Speaking of bad, Incineroar's is better than DK's because recovery high is pretty decent. I mean, side B uppy, always going to be decent. Really bad air mobility. He has counter, which helps. It has armor on the uppy, but like it's really, I think like the only scary thing about this is like if you mess up edgeguarding this one, you die. Like same with Chrom, but Chrom's is really easy to edgeguard, whereas this one's a little scarier. So you have to be careful. but it's really exploitable. It's easy to 2-frame. So yeah, I think it's just bad. Piranha Plant. Piranha Plants is somewhere here where it's like, it's a little exploitable. Not that exploitable because you have Patui for coverage. You have the ability to go under the stage. No, you can't really go under the stage. You have the ability to Patui recovery. You have armor, so you don't get early edge guarded, but you get once the uppie started edge guarded. But then for the most part, that's like falling aerials, and then you just recover high. The high recovery is pretty decent actually because you're a fast faller. So you just whoosh and then fall, which is kind of nice. It's definitely one of the better recoveries. It's also not super easy to mess with. Like the hitbox is a little annoying, and he has so many stall variants with like down B, press B, you know, spitting poison cloud, stuff like that. So yeah, it's like fine. It's not good, I would say, and he's like a little too slow, so it's not like Rosa tier. And he's a fast faller, so he kind of still has to make decisions relatively quickly. And down B's fake off stage for sure. Like if you didn't just already jump off stage, because it's like down B, you just go, okay, cool, whoop, air dodge, hit him, which is nice. But yeah, Link is somewhere up here. Link's recovery is really good in my opinion. I think Link's recovery is just like, well, Banjo has Wonder Wing. Bomb recovery is clutch, right? Bomb recovery is super good. It's really hard to hit because he can change where he DIs and people go in very, very different placements. Link is just so strong at recovery. I mean, his uppie, like, if he has to recover normal, it's not a great recovery, right? His uppie's mid. I mean, it's like big, but it's pretty easy to hit. His, like, not great airspeed, but bomb recovery is simply so good. It's probably still worse than Sephiroth's. If you don't have bomb, you're fucked. But like judging Link without bomb is less fair, I feel like, than judging like Joker with Arsene. But he just, yeah, he chooses to skip edge guarding in a way better than Snake and stuff. It's just Snake has double jump uppie, which is nice. Luigi, better than Incineroars. Luigi goes here, Incin goes here actually. His uppie goes too far, man. And like you don't burn your double jump until the very end, so you should always have your double jump. He has the ability to misfire. He has down B for armor. It's like surprisingly hard to edgeguard with people. Like Raru's recoveries are so good. Like I didn't think the recoveries were that good, and then I played Luigi and Raru, and I was like, wow, they're really hard to edgeguard. Like surprisingly, like there are specific positions that yeah, you're gonna kill them, and like certain characters can just kill them anyway. But like that's why they're still down here, not up here. But like it's surprisingly hard to edgeguard some of these characters. Villager, it's like Isabelle without a tether and with a shitty side B. So they're down here because it's the same otherwise, but I think tether is much better than Lloyd Rocket Go Zoom because you're gonna die to Lloyd Rocket Go Zoom because it's really easy to hit. It's everything that Isabelle, but worse in my opinion. Shulk. Shulk is a little worse than Snake. Jump art is crazy. You don't always have jump art. Speed art's pretty good. You don't always have jump art though, so it's really good because jump art happens, you know, 3 out of 4 recoveries, but that 4th recovery, a little bit hard. A little bit tricky. Marth and Lucina, I'm going to put in the same spot. It's the same thing. I think their recoveries are quite good. It's hard to mess with the recovery. Lucina's recovery is good. It's like linear, but you have moves to swat out. You have high uppie, which is good. You have uppie's invincible, which is always going to be great for timing. It's a little hard to 2-frame this character because, again, kind of like Game & Watch, was just like, they're there. Boom. All of a sudden, they're there. Which I think is quite good for Lucina and Marth. They're, you know, like they can get edge guarded again if they have no double jump and they get hit out. Yeah, it's gonna be a struggle, but that's like 99% of the characters in the game. Like literally the only characters that don't care if they don't have a double jump and get hit to bubble are like Bowser Jr. and higher. Marcina has a worse recovery than me, Sword Fighter. Yeah, I agree, just because of jump side B. The thing is, like, jump side B, like, sometimes I die for going for jump side B with me, Sword Fighter, because you don't get uppie again. Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong's recovery is really good. I think there are very few characters that can really edgeguard Diddy. I'm one of them, thankfully, but most characters can't edgeguard Diddy. Monkey Flip is crazy. Barrels are absolutely insane. They go so far for no reason. You have rising barrels. You have the ability to get banana and protect you, peanut and protect you. You can go high with jump monkey flip if they're not ready. You can then like beer verse and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's so good. Like, it's actually insane. It's probably actually here. It's probably here. It's probably here. It's probably better than Lucario's. It's probably better than Puff's. I mean, again, I personally will edgeguard this character. But this isn't a who ESAM edgeguards tier list. Was Greninja solo? It's bad. I think it's overrated. Pokemon Trainer. So for Pokemon Trainer, I'm gonna like average the 3. I think Pokemon Trainer's recovery is like fine. I think it's like above average, even for like the good characters. But like Charizard's recovery is obviously broken because you have Flare Blitz, you have armor on your up B, you have a tether recovery with Ivysaur, which I think is kind of bad. Like, I think it's one of the worst tether recoveries, in my opinion. I don't know if it's just, like, again, Pika specifically has really easy ways to deal with stuff. So does Brawler, honestly. But Squirtle's recovery is honestly, like, pretty good. Like, side being under the stage, just, like, side being, like, a little high, and then, like, going under, and then, like, double jump up B and stuff like that's pretty good. Their less trapping's really bad, but that's not recovery. So I think it's, like, solid. I don't think it's, like, crazy good. I think that they're a little bit too linear, except for, like, Charizard, who then, like, he Flare Blitzes high, but then gets punished a lot of the time, as opposed to someone like Brawler, who, like, isn't really going to get punished for the jump down B and stuff like that. Ivy's recovery is low-key the best of the three. It's Charizard. Clearly it's Charizard. It's, like, so not close Charizard. Wolf. Wolf's is probably the bottom of this tier. I think that the threat of side B killing is really, really important. But if people learn how to time their stuff correctly, side B does not come out until, or like the hitbox of side B comes out after Wolf is there. The mix-up of early side B and early up B go high is kind of interesting because you have to hit moves early to hit the side B, but then the up B kind of whiffs in that case, which is really, really interesting. I still do think Wolf has, does Wolf have better recovery than Fox? It's hard, right? Because like with double jump, Wolf is really good. Without a double jump, I think Wolf is the worst recovery because it doesn't have side B, up B. So maybe Wolf is more like here. Because again, Wolf oftentimes will have his double jump. Like in situations, he's gonna be fine recovering for the most part, more than Fox will, in my opinion, because also Wolf doesn't like, it's less linear, I guess, if that makes sense. Ken is here. It's like Ryu's, but worse, because Tatsu's easier. Like, you can get hit by his Tatsu and then continue to edgeguard him, whereas at least if you get hit by Ryu's Tatsu, you're gonna get hit, like, you're gonna die. Young Link. This recovery's kind of bad, in my opinion. It's not that bad. Is it that bad? I think Young Link's recovery is, like, low-key one of the worst recoveries in the game. Like, the more I think about it. Yes, he has a tether, but it's a non-obligate tether, so you can get in the way of it a lot, which is really unfortunate. And his up B is really easy to edgeguard because it's not big like Link's is. He's a little bit of a fast faller, so he falls a little bit faster. He doesn't have bomb recovery. Speaking of bomb recovery, Toon Link's is like significantly better, right? Like Toon Link's is like up here in my opinion, because he's floatier. He has the ability to like pull bomb a little bit easier. The bomb explodes faster, I think. And also his up B just goes farther. And his tether to the ledge is better. It's way farther. So I think their recoveries are quite different. I do think Big Link actually has the best recovery just because bomb recovery is insane. Just like, you know, ending out the speed. Let's keep it with the Zelda characters, actually. Zelda's recovery is crazy. You can't two-frame this character because she just holds down and then has a hitbox there. And it goes so far, and she has the ability to down B to help her recovery and side B to help her recovery and reflect projectiles. It's like one of the better, like I find it very difficult to kill Zelda off stage. And I don't think many characters do. You have to preemptively hit the up B before they do stuff, which is like crazy. Like, and it goes so far. Mega Man's recovery is like pretty good. I mean, he can recover high. He can like up B and stuff, like up B and then do stuff, which is nice because he can up B and downer, up B and leaf shield. I do think it's a little bit lower than I feel like some people think, just because like it still doesn't have a hitbox, right? So if you get into positions where like they don't have a double jump, it's like up B, do something, up B, do something, which is pretty easy to exploit. Side B'ing the ledge actually does help a lot, in my opinion, when it comes to Mega Man's recovery. But yeah, it's good. It's solid. Like, I feel like it's really dependent on his double jump for, like, mix-ups. And he has to recover high a lot. Recovering low is pretty bad. But that's still fine. Wii Fit Trainer. Wii Fit's Trainer's recovery is... it's better than Pokemon Trainers, probably. Maybe it's a little bit worse. You have Side B. No, it's fine. It's, like, good. Worse than Sword Fighters, though. Up B goes pretty far, but it doesn't have a hitbox above it, which is unfortunate. You obviously do have Side B to stall, which is really nice. But it like doesn't inherently go super far. I mean, I guess you have the ability to deep breathing, which is always nice to like reduce your damage and reduce the knockback, you know, corresponding to that. Wii Fit's an interesting one, because I think that's like really hard to separate my Pika buys, but also I like downer this when I play Brawler too. Bowser's recovery is definitely better than DK's and Insyn's because you have the ability to mash your up B. You have so many, you actually like that by itself is like crazy. And you also have down B from high. You can down B and grab the ledge, which is really nice that I feel like these characters don't really have access to because it's really hard to mess with this down B. So Bowser's is definitely like, is it better than Pit's? I'm not gonna say it's better than Pit's. I'm not gonna say it's better than, it's harder to edgeguard than K. Rool's. But like inherently it's worse, so that's kind of the question there. It's definitely better than Kirby's and Ryu's though. Bowser's recovery, like Dude, Nano Ash's recoveries and my brother's recoveries are like crazy. It's so hard to edgeguard them as like even good edgeguarding characters. So yeah, I think Bowser's recovery is like a bit better than people give it credit for. Definitely better than these two recoveries. Let's finish out the super heavies. Ridley. I know Ridley's not technically a super heavy, but whatever. I think Ridley's recovery is like slightly worse than, no, it's better than Mewtwo's. Better than Inklings. The thing about Ridley is like the recovery would be super broken if you could pick all your angles, but I think there's enough angles for Ridley that like the fact that it's so hard to hit his up B just really speaks volumes. Like if he doesn't have a bunch of double jumps and he needs to side B up B, yeah, you can kill it. That's pretty rare considering you can just up B while keeping your double jumps totally fine. And then it's like so hard to edgeguard that. Again, specific characters can edgeguard Ridley, right? But most characters can't. So it's just good. It's hard to edgeguard Ridley unless again specifically they have no resources, have to side B. So glad he thinks Fox is the middle of the pack character. People hype it up too much because of light. This is recovery tier list. This isn't a tier list. Fox is broken. I have two pretty bad recoveries left. Robin. Robin's is up here. So Robin, you run out of up B, which is bad. You have the ability to stall with side B and neutral B. Not stall. You have the ability to attack where the ledge is with side B and neutral B, but those are laggy and punishable. And then the up B itself goes far, but it is pretty easy to rinse repeat for a lot of characters. So I don't really think it's super good. And then if you rinse repeat enough, they simply die. Like they actually die. That's crazy. Like you just run out of up B. Who else runs out of up B? Fuel characters. And the thing is, fuel characters also have really good recoveries because they can go super high. Robin can't. And the last bad recovery, which is not even a bad recovery, it's just a not great recovery, is Terry. I think Terry's recovery is very exploitable. You obviously have to be fast enough, right? Because he has 3 options no matter what. Every single time he gets hit, he has 3 options, which is side B at some level, down B, and up B, which is very, very nice. You have the up B charge versus not charge mix up for different 2-frame timings, different distances, which in my opinion is really good. Of course, it is very easy to 2-frame each of them individually, but you have to know which one is coming first. Crack shoots better than Bow Knuckle in better than Burn Knuckle in most instances? Yeah, for sure. Unless you don't want to go super far because the person can get there. But like there's enough mix-ups with Terry that I feel like it's good. But I think it's overall worse than Kazuya's recovery just because Kazuya simply just goes farther and it's a little bit easier. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's a good recovery. It's like, again, I'm personally gonna edgeguard it, but I play Pikachu. I wonder how many people are gonna get annoyed that's like, oh my god, ESAM, we get it. You can edgeguard. Like, it's fine. And I'm saying that just so I'm giving you reference to like, yes, it is a little bit exploitable, and yes, maybe I can edgeguard it, but most people can't. And most characters can't, I promise. All the rest of the characters that we have are really, really, really good recoveries. First off, we're going to go with King DDD. I'm going to put DDD slightly below here. The problem with DDD is that he has really bad airspeed. It's actually worse than Snakes. It's worse than Shulks. Is it worse than... It's worse than Pete. It's worse than Saurus. If you get hit really low, this recovery is fantastic because you just jump up B and no one can mess with you. But when you are farther off stage and need to take time to recover, you can get hit very easily because you have really, really bad airspeed. Of course, the up B itself is really good. It has armor. It goes really far. But if you aren't close enough to up B grab ledge, this recovery can turn into a struggle. His stats are so bad in the air to the point where most characters like jump out. Oh, you shot Gordo, hit him. Or, oh, you're trying to fight back, avoid that. Back air or forward air, depending on whatever your character wants. Which in my opinion is a little bit rough for him. Again, if he's recovering specifically low, very good. High, not great. Mid, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like, obviously multiple jumps, but you use your jumps very quickly because you're a fast faller, which is just unfortunate, right? But like, it's obviously like way better than Kirby's because the up B is actually good. Okay, and now probably the biggest shock that people will have of the remaining characters, which is that Zero Suit is not in the top tier. She's actually just below Bowser Jr. in my opinion, because Zero Suit needs her resources to have a good recovery, and it's a lot simpler to hit Zero Suit out. This is weird wording. Zero Suit has obvious counterplay if you are correct on how to deal with her recovery, right? Hitting down B is very possible. They can simply not down B in bad positions, but it's possible to hit Zero Suit out of recovery. If you don't have your flip jump specifically when you are playing Zero Suit, your recovery goes to like here. Like, it's fine, but it's not great, right? Like, non-obligate tethers, you know, an up B that you can mess with. Kind of, and like her up B doesn't go super far, but when you have flip jump, it's really, really good. The reason I'm putting it below Bowser Jr. is because Bowser Jr. simply goes side B and gets right next to the stage, and they don't have to jump out of it to keep their side. And then if they get hit, out of the just going side B, they can just double jump and then side B again, whereas Zero Suit loses flip jump. So if you lose double jump with Zero Suit, you have to flip jump in certain positions where you can get hit and die. If you don't have flip jump, you have to recover in very specific ways like a normal character, which is why the characters aren't up here. These characters don't have to recover normal, or their normal recovery is so good that it doesn't matter. Like, it's very feasible to edgeguard Zero Suit if you are correct in what she wants to do and if you outsmart the Zero Suit. These characters, you have to go through like 17 layers of hell to potentially maybe get to the final mix-up of their recovery. Hero. This character's recovery is really good because you get zoom 85% of the time. His recovery is like fine on its own, right? Up B goes really far. It's very easy to mess with, but you have Accelerate sometimes, which just your recovery becomes jump art for 20 seconds or however long it is, 15 seconds, 10 seconds. It's a long time. And then he gets zoom with 2 clicks 85% of the time in the bottom blast zone. And it's not edgeguardable. Like you can't hit that. It's literally, there's no guaranteed way. Like, it's not like he always goes to center or always goes to whatever. Bike is greater than zoom. It's objectively not, because you can lose bike. You can never lose zoom. Also, sometimes if you are wrong at edge guarding hero, or you do it wrong, he just like single upbeats you and gets back to stage, or you're gonna get something like upbeat into back air, which is a little bit of a problem. Obviously, MP matters because sometimes you can have low enough MP that you can't use your good upbeats, but like zoom is broken. Like zoom is so good. Like zoom by itself puts hero here. You can read them going into menu for zoom and go out to punish. In what fucking universe are you able to jump out there when they go for zoom unless you are a top 5 air mobility character, and even then it takes like a second and a half to do that? The zoom is going. You're wrong and you're crazy. Sheik. I think Sheik's recovery is crazy. I think Sheik's recovery is a little bit better than Zelda's, because no, it's a little worse than Zelda's. You have Bouncing Fish, you have a great double jump, you have up B that becomes invincible and is a kill move when people try to edgeguard you. It is very, very good in my opinion. I think it is very rare that Sheiks actually get edgeguarded. Honestly, it would be like down here and like very good recovery but exploitable, but then there's that weird like out of hit stun, holy shit, Vanish went halfway from bubble to near stage and then you just recover anyway. So I don't understand how that works or why that works, but that is what puts Sheik's recovery into super broken tiers. It doesn't really matter. Like you get hit, oh, you're fine, recovery. And of course, Bouncing Fish is really good. Double jump is fine. There's invincibility, wall cling, wall jump, just good attributes. Like the amount of times you edgeguard a Sheik are like very minute for like no characters. And then it's very easy to get unto frameable stuff with just like Vanish where it goes. And the thing is, you can't really super contest her early because then she just Bouncing Fishes. You just double jump Bouncing Fishes or double jump Throw Needles, and like it's so hard to do that. I think the 5 remaining characters are the top 5 recoveries in some order. Number 5, I'm actually gonna go with Pika. Pika's recovery is obviously super broken. It goes incredibly far. You don't need a double jump unless you're getting hit literally in the bottom left corner blast zone, because up B is crazy. I obviously have access to double up zip, which makes the character's recovery even better. There are a bajillion angles. It's really hard to cover stuff. You can recover high, you can recover low, you can recover under the stage. All very good. The only reason this character's recovery is worse than the other 4 is because it is the easiest to frame of all of these by a lot. Yes, there are technically angles that you can recover from low and not get a 2-frame. They're very, very, very difficult. Like, I've tried getting them a lot. It's like so hard because if you're off by a couple pixels, you're gonna get 2-framed, or just miss the ledge and then you're just like there and then you get 2-framed anyway. But Pikachu's recovery is crazy. I do think it is overall better than Game & Watch's, just because Game & Watch, in certain positions where he has to go up B, air dodge, it's a little bit easier to hit than quick attack, specifically like Skull Bash quick attack. But yeah, Pikachu's recovery, in my opinion, 5th best recovery in the game. 4th best recovery is Pac-Man. Pac-Man's recovery is crazy. It's super good. Side B, up B by itself can recover from anywhere, right? I think it's insane. I think there are maybe some little counterplays to Pac-Man up B that people aren't doing quite yet, but I think it's really, really hard. It's really hard to edgeguard this character. It's so hard to edgeguard this character. Side B has armor. Yeah, you can hit the pellet, but that's typically on the Pac-Man's bad for putting the pellet in a really easy place to get hit. Pac-Man's fine off stage, and side B is so good to deal with. If he recovers high, he side B's and then hydrants, then it's so annoying to deal with. He can just simply recover high like every time if he wants to, and then get his bonus fruit. He can recover low and get his bonus fruit. He's floaty. He has good double jump. He has an up air to stall. You can also down B to stall if you're trying to like 2-frame him or like trying to catch a timing of something. He just goes hydrant, and then it just like changes your entire timing. So the number 3 recovery in the game, Sonic the Hedgehog. When Sonic has all of his resources, you simply, it's the best recovery in the game. When you have all your resources, it's the best recovery in the game. Spin shot into up B is too good. Side B into up B is too good. Side B double jump into up B is too good. Down B double jump into up B is so good. His up B goes up so far. Your up B, you have to worry about a billion timing because his up B simply distance-wise goes so far. It's a little bit invincible. He can recover high because he has the ability to land on you with aerials that are really annoying. His air dodge is also super broken. So like the reason, like I would rather I would rather a Game & Watch recover high and then me try to punish that landing than a Sonic, because Sonic has just like better things that, like, you know, a Game & Watch is gonna down air or a forward air or something, whereas Sonic is going to combo you off of an air if you mess up, which is hard. And the thing is, in positions where like Sonic is like, oh, I don't have a double jump and I'm barely gonna make it back with up B, and then people try to edge guard him, he just charges homing attack and it rises up. And yeah, there's counterplay to that, right? You just have to avoid the edge guard entirely, but you have to then go avoid the edge guard entirely, which means you just up Bs and recovers. In the positions where up B air dodge doesn't recover, sorry, Sonic, that's like, you got hit down left. Who hits down left? Like, sorry, you got Jigglypuff down smashed with no double jump at 95. Sorry, you deserve it. Like, resources or no resources, the recovery is crazy good, and it's super hard to mess with. And like, if you're wrong, he just gets his resources back, or he just like recovers from higher anyway, because Spring is also super fast. So if you, it's kind of like Sheik with Bouncing Fish or a bunch of other characters where it's like, oh, you try to edge guard Spring and it just hits you away. Second best recovery in the game, Steve. Second best recovery. The distance of this is crazy. The only negative to Steve's recovery is when he doesn't have resources and he has to up you from low. There are very, like, you know, he has to do the one like the pew thing where it's pretty easy to hit that. Like, it's pretty easy to edge guard that. If you don't have a spike, you're not going to kill him off of that unless he's at higher percent. So he just gets to do it a bunch, which is why it's a crazy recovery. Obviously, if he has all his resources, he can do blocks and he can do minecart and he can do anvil and he can do blah, 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 blah. It's SpongeBob blowing bubbles. Or it's, you know, we're not talking about this or this, we're talking about this. But yeah, it's a crazy recovery. It's so good. You can get all your resources back all the time. You can go under the stage. You can, like, if you edgeguard Steve, you deserve a medal. But you know who you deserve 2 medals for edgeguarding? Bayo. The reason that Bayo is number 1 is because she doesn't use her resources. Like, there are so few situations where a Bayo does not have the resources to recover, because the way her double jump uppy works is that every time she does double jump uppy, she keeps her double jump. So she does double jump uppy and then double jump uppy and then side B, and then you hit her, and then she goes to the bottom and then goes double jump uppy and then side B and then double jump uppy and then air dodge, and you hit her and she goes double jump uppy, side B, double jump uppy. If you hit the side B, then you get 2. If you ever have to recover high, you have dive kick. If you are in an uncomfortable position, you do dive kick, double jump uppy, air dodge, you got hit, double jump uppy, side B. Like, they should never, ever, 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 ever not have their double jump unless they got greedy or they were in such a bad position because they got greedy that they no longer have their resources anymore. But if you edgeguard a Bayo, legitimately, they messed up. Steve at least has positions where, like, I'm gonna jump over the minecart, I'm gonna read these things, I'm gonna read that they're gonna block here. For Bayo, like, you can't jump at her, because if you're ever in this angle of her, she just side Bs you. So you can't do that, so you let her recover low, and then she goes double jump uppy, and then air dodges, and you can't do anything. The only way to edgeguard this character is if they don't have a double jump. And if they don't have their double jump, they still have access to up B. Oh, you got hit by the up B, side B, air dodge. But like, they always have their double jump. And if they don't have a double jump, that's their bad. Like, entirely their bad. Steve, you can at least like hit minecarts, or like he doesn't have iron because of neutral. Bayo always has their double jump. Like, I think it's easier to edgeguard Steve than Bayo. I think it's crazy. Yeah, and then the thing is, like, if she has her double jump and you mess up an edge, you just get side beat and then turn around up B fair, turn around up, or like then up B fair again, like, which I know is not a combo, but like, you're off stage and people are gonna panic. It's crazy. How spikeable is the recovery? It's really hard. It's really hard to spike it because they can simply just recover in other positions. Like, they don't, like, against characters like Aegis who have a good 2 frames, you simply don't recover there, or you mix up your timings because you're fucking Bayo. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for all the memberships and all the stuff like that. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the bits, etc., etc. I appreciate it a lot. YouTube, goodbye.